Guys, I will have you back a little bit later, but I want to get the read on all this with Nancy Mace, the Republican South Carolina representative. Congresswoman, very good to have you back. I do want to talk to you about infrastructure, that sort of thing. Where are you on that math the president was using, Congresswoman, on the 8-to-1 ratio in benefits versus costs of these tax credits?
Well, I'm having trouble. I think the left, certainly in the White House, is having trouble with some of the basic math on this deal. We just saw yesterday with that $3.5 trillion proposal by the Biden administration. It says to me the bipartisan infrastructure package that was proposed was so bad for the socialist wing of the Democratic Party. They've got to put this package together to get the approval of socialists like Bernie Sanders and AOC. And you're right, Neil, about inflation and the cost of inflation with this kind of spending. It'll continue to hurt the economy. I know for a tank of gas here in South Carolina, I'm paying almost $3 a gallon right now, significantly more today than it was 7 months ago. And so groceries have gone up, the cost of housing has gone up, everything that we buy today, the prices have gone up significantly over the last 6 to 7 months.
You know, I hate to wade into politics, Congressman, but I did catch the president saying there were no Republican votes for this measure, these credits. So I said, well, I have a feeling this is going to be a midterm election issue. All these millions of people getting money to feed their kids, you know the drill, and that Republicans were the greedy, mean, cold, callous folks who said no. I think that's what he was setting the stage for, but what do you make of that?
Oh, I bet. And we saw last week Jen Psaki saying Republicans wanted to defund the police. This is political. And these are the kinds of games we should not be playing with the American people in the middle of a pandemic. And I believe it's largely true. The federal government helped incentivize with additional federal unemployment checks, unemployment in the country. South Carolina itself, I know for 6 to 9 months over the last year and a half, we're saddled with unemployment at 4 to 5%. Not bad in the middle of a pandemic, but could have been better if we didn't pay people to stay home. And I think that it's very dangerous to set the precedent that Americans are going to receive a check every month from the federal government, because there is free lunch, as one of your interviewers said earlier. Somebody's going to have to pay that bill, and it will not be the wealthy. It'll be on the backs of everyday, hardworking people that have jobs and are trying to do right by their families and themselves and their communities.
All right. Well, much of this is paid for by the wealthy. I mean, the higher taxes for them. The president made a point of saying that will get them paying their fair share, and corporations paying their fair share. That is a moving target, as you pointed out in the past, Congressman, this idea of what is fair share. I have an idea that it might be significantly higher than where we are. What do you think?
Well, I would argue, too, that those costs will get passed down to the consumer, to everyday Americans, because someone is going to have to pay that bill. And it will be, you'll see it in inflation. You'll see it in the prices of goods. You don't think
the surtaxes on the wealthy and all that will be enough to cover this? Because the math does bear you out, that alone won't pay for this, let alone the $3.5 trillion so-called human infrastructure package. I guess Chuck Schumer wants to debut next week.
Right. No, I believe it's going to trickle down to everybody who has a job in this country. They will pay significantly more in taxes, whether that's through their paycheck or through the groceries that they buy at the grocery store, or their gas they're filling up their cars with every week. They'll feel the pain.